Greetings, Satorians. One of the biggest things that we deal with in Satori is this little me, this self-concept that we have. And in our gameplay, we're going to move from thinking of that self-concept as who we are. There's no questioning it. It's just who we are. I'm Kenton, and that's who I am. To starting to question that, over time, realize that it may not be as solid as I believe, and the deeper I go down that rabbit hole, the more the little me starts to get called into question. As that happens, we ideally see more and more of our true nature. And this, I would argue, is what all the mystical traditions point us towards, and what all the religious traditions meant to point us towards before they started to become mainstreamed and kind of taken and made into things that just tried to give us a soothing, quick message about life instead of saying, wait a second, we can go through life just living on default, or there's something deeper going on here. But that deeper going on, it takes some work to figure it out. This isn't something that's going to come just quick and easy. Now, that aside, this concept of little me can cause us all kinds of troubles. It's the source of so many of our anxieties, of our frustrations and our stresses, and our whole desire basically to control life and to make it look a certain way. So when I have a really unexamined little me, I'm going to fight through most of life, really trying to arrange things and being mad at the things that aren't appearing the way that I think they should appear. That's a tough way to go through life. And I think at the end of that, if we die a conscious and slow death, for instance, you're on your deathbed and you have some time to contemplate things, and you haven't been drugged up with a bunch of opioids to ease your pain, there's a moment at the end of our gameplay there where we can see, wow, all these attempts to protect this little me, and all these attempts to make the world look the way I wanted to, those were all futile actions. I'm not going to say it was a waste of time, but almost a waste of time. And what if, we can say as we take our last few breaths, what if I had, or what if right now, in these last few breaths, I just be? And that's where something really powerful and magical can happen. But that's the end game. And in the meantime, there's a lot of wrestling that's going to go on with this little me. Trying to figure out what it is, trying to develop our relationship with it. And so there's a little game or trick that we can play that will help us to have a different relationship with our little me. And this makes life a little bit more fun, and it just urges us in the direction of seeing through the little me and seeing what it really is. So this isn't about getting rid of it, destroying it, nothing like that. But it's about saying, if I see my little me as a character, and I see today as this gift I've been given to live out, however it's going to be lived out, how can I be the best character possible for the duration of this day? And by best, I mean in the standard sense, yes. So exercising our virtues, building our attributes. That means going out of our way to help strangers, and when a challenge is thrown before us, something that gets us frustrated or angry, to see if we can encounter it in a new and positive way. But also, by best, I mean being present, being here, immersing ourselves in this beingness. When I immerse myself in this, then for a moment, my little me is not engaged in the same way. And when I immerse myself in the experience of a conversation with someone, I become less concerned with what I want and what I need out of this, and more concerned with hearing the other person, actually listening to them, which paradoxically will often get us what we want, much more so than trying to force our ideas onto someone else. When I immerse myself in the experience of something sensory that's happening to me, food, making love with someone, looking at a friend and just admiring the lines on their face that are telling the story of the emotions that they've had in their life, sad or happy. When I do that, I am seeing that that person is something more than just my usual mental concept of Martha, whoever it is that I'm looking at. So we can see that when I say, today I want to be the best character I can, wow, I'm going to live today very, very differently than if I just wake up and try to get through my day, do the usual routine. It's almost as if you imagine that you are a character in a book. How are you going to make this chapter a really interesting one? And how are you going to make it so that the chapter after this sees you and the people around you that you interact with in the world just a slightly better, happier place? There's a huge amount of adventure that goes into this because it snaps us out of this autopilot, this idea of just plowing through the day. And instead it asks us to engage. When we engage with Satori, that's when the really cool stuff starts to happen. So, a fairly simple technique: wake up in the morning and say, today, how can I be the best, most interesting character possible in this game? And then go for it. Share your thoughts in the comments. Can't wait to see what you have to say.